Why, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Why, hello.
That was a particularly Professor Farnsworthy. Hello, everyone.
Good news, everybody.
Good news, everyone. Welcome once more, dear listeners, dear players, dear whomever this may apply to Reckless Attack, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons actual play podcast. I am your Dungeon Master, Nathan, once again joined around the table by all of these just cute little players around here. Hey, everybody. How you doing tonight?
Well, hi.
Yeah.
First of all, let's make sure that all our listeners know what cute little guys I'm talking about. Starting with
The cutest guy, Jonathan, who plays checkers.
As my husband is sitting here at this table, I have to disagree.
Okay,
as the identical twin of your
You
eyes.
are legally obligated to say that
Right.
now, so.
1 out of 1 Jonathans polled.
Of current players
Players-
who have responded to the introduce yourself segment of Reckless Attack.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Who plays checkers, the Grung Druid, and his trusty cute frog pals, Mango and Junior.
I am not disputing Mango's cuteness.
Yes.
That's just fact.
Yes.
Alas, he is but a fictional frog.
Mm-hmm.
Only fictional in the world. He's true in my heart.
That's true.
He exists
So
solely
accurate.
in my
Only
heart.
fictional in your mind. Let that one sink in.
We're already off the rails.
I am very interested to see where you're trying to go with this, Jonathan.
That's the problem. I'm trying to go somewhere, but I don't even know.
That's
What a-
fucking welcome to my brain. I got you, man. I get you.
Send off in the comments where Jonathan is going.
Where I'm trying to go is across the table from me to Selv.
Hello, everyone. I'm Steve, and I'm playing Selv Asterlin, the Dragonborn monk, who is excited to get to Deepwood because it's basically a tree fort.
Yeah.
It's a tree fort, and it's not a building that might eat him.
Well,
Maybe.
It currently does not pose as a building.
As far as you know.
As far as
Right.
Selv knows, it is not a building that is trying to eat him.
It's one of those good buildings
Yeah.
that doesn't do an eat.
Yes. And to my right,
Hi, everyone. I'm David, and I play Cascarin Brightmane, the Dwarven Warlock. And I am.
what even
yeah,
are we
yeah.
today?
What is even? I don't even know what's going on anymore.
101 Sophie's polled, the cutest one here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Dude.
I've been voted most cute at my high school prom, which is happening now. Oh God.
Did I do something? Like, did I introduce this
No,
episode wrong?
Nathan,
Or did...
I
What's
think-
going on here?
I think the Zangs happened.
Got it.
Oh
We're
no.
We
just-
called him cute, and they
yeah,
just couldn't
we're
handle it.
arguing in the background. No, am I the cute one?
No, I'm the cute
I'm
one.
the cute one.
I shit you not. I have for many years been able to easily tell the difference in your voices, even before we started just cramming your voices into my ear 1 hour a week. And literally, as you were saying, no, I'm the cute one, it was like, oh God, they actually melded together just a little bit in a way that I'm not comfortable with.
And across the table from me.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sophie. I play Valeska Carter, the human astral cleric of the Arcana domain. I'm going to just leave it there.
That's enough.
probably the wise
That's the vibe
choice.
for this
That's
episode.
Ugh, well, cuties. Last time on Reckless Attack, you had I would say, overall, a nice time where you successfully escaped from big, scary, shambling skull and surrounding cult. You had a nice evening of flute playing, crayon drawing, poker playing, talking about mortality with an undead centurion that's been around for a few decades. Classic D&D stuff. You are probably now a good day's travel away from your destination of Deepwood, which is the tree city, tree fort, whatever kind of situation that you guys are going towards. But now maybe your stopover at Deepwood is maybe a little more, not complicated, but at least there's something to do than just see the sights, so to speak. Because you got a very interesting message from everyone's favorite guard captain of Agmar, Nomgar, who said the city of Crossroads, which is a city that you all passed through on your way to get to Agmar, the city has been attacked. Some refugees had made their way to Agmar, and some amount of refugees were actually on their way to Deepwood as well. You don't have a lot of details. You're not even sure if your timelines are going to intersect. But that is the information you have as you all are sitting around maybe a campfire, maybe a place that you've already picked out to be your camp for the evening, as Selv has kind of informed you all of what he heard from beautiful dwarf Nomgar.
I just want to say, I think Checkers is thinking about the fact that he may have been the last person to climb the giant bridge before it was torn down.
Immediately centering himself in this potential tragedy. Yes.
Exactly. Just cementing him as the greatest adventurer who ever lived, and will be known across all of Crossroads history as the last person who witnessed this. So.
It's really good that they took a running tally of names
Yes.
of people who climbed it so that they would always have a written record of who went up there.
So that's what Checkers is up to.
Wow. I'm famous.
Yeah.
Just a clarification. They took something from the bridge or they took something from the archway that led into the city?
It's a little bit of both, where there is kind of an archway bridge.
Is it like the Brooklyn Bridge where there's like there's like the tall structures that kind of hold up the bridge? Okay.
Exactly. That was torn down, not necessarily to ruin the bridge, it sounded like, but because there was something inside of the arch.
Inside the arch of the bridge.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
I know that the refugees from Crossroads left a couple of days ago, but did Nomgar say, and he's kind of looking at Selv, when they might arrive at Deepwood?
He was not specific. They left several days ago. So I would guess within the next 3 to 4 days they would arrive in Deepwood.
Interesting, yeah, because they're taking the road straight here. But that does pose a challenge, because I don't know if we can stick around in Deepwood when we get there.
I think what we can do is
Prepare the city.
let the people of Deepwood know that they are coming and ensure that they're going to help them, make sure that they're open to the refugees, so that when they get here, the refugees arrive, they'll have what they need.
We'll just have to hope that the leadership at Deepwood is the kind of people who would take refugees in.
Was Nomgar's message, was it asking us to take care of it or to just make sure that they were be able to be received?
So it specifically said, been an attack on Crossroads. Refugees at Agmar, including strange folks you rescued from Grung. Some going to Deepwood. If close, can you ensure arrival? Now, Nomgar is not your boss, and he knows that, and you guys would know that. He is simply asking if you are able to offer assistance.
It sounds like maybe he was assuming we would be taking the runic road and maybe get them and escort them.
I think he's assuming that we are close in the area where they're headed and that we are the guilders he knows us to be, and will do what we can, but he's just giving us a heads up.
I think that once we get to Deepwood, we should notify the guards and see if they can send people out to the road to meet the refugees. If we are not able to.
We will not be able to. We have to find Lorana. We have to stick with our mission to help the bones. We don't have a ton of time either way. And this mission is one we have to do. The guards or folks at Deepwood would be able to help the refugees. It's an unfortunate reality that we can't help everyone.
Yeah, I think, Leska, to your point, we have a job to do. So we'll help these people any way we can, and maybe on our way back, we can check on them.
The fortunate, the undead centurion who's been accompanying you on this adventure, kind of also nods and says, not to be selfish, but sticking to the mission often provides good results.
I don't suppose there are members of the Bones generally out this far.
Even before we had been recalled, after that creature was attacking us, we would never go this far. We are sworn to Agmar, not to the larger region, unfortunately.
Can I make a roll, or does Selv know what the guard in Deepwood is? Like, what they're called, and what they're, like, do they go outside of the tree, or is it just strictly they guard there in the tree and that's it?
Yes, you can give me a history roll if you'd like.
Ooh, 19 on the die for an unnatural 20.
You guys may or may not know about Deepwood to an extent. The main overarching bits that is pertinent to your question. Deepwood is both a city and a forest. It is a supernaturally dense forest, known to be incredibly magical and generally inhospitable to outsiders who do not know their way through it. Deepwood is also a city atop a gargantuan tree on the outskirts of this forest. For many years, it was kind of the point of contact for people outside of the community as a kind of way to slowly extend a bit of influence and neighborly appreciation outside of their kind of insular existence. That changed a bit during the reign of the Pentarchy, and quadruply so during the Ultragiants. That period, while they were not directly involved in anything around the Pentarchy or Ultragiants, doubled down, if not quadrupled down, on their insular tendencies. They're not necessarily hostile to outsiders, but you would know generally they keep their attention to what goes on inside of their wood, presumably, and in kind of the most immediate area outside of it.
I don't know if Deepwood would send people out that far. Suppose we could try to hire folks.
We'll find out when we arrive. We can speculate, but we won't know till we get there.
Maybe there is an unknown branch of the Golden Tree Guild there.
Yeah, we could see.
So you guys settle down for the evening. Make camp. Take your watches. Your co-watches with the fortunate. And you get up the next day. Again, another night passes uneventfully. And you haven't had too many of those in a row. So maybe you're enjoying it. Maybe you're suspicious of it. I don't know.
Val is attuned to the liminal looking glass and is aware the number of sentient creatures within 30 feet of herself. So if that number goes up, she's like, what?
She'll know. I will try my best to always remember that your beautiful new artifact, as delivered by Valkyrie, the lovely spirit living inside of your brain, does such things. The next morning arrives, and you all pick up your supplies, you break camp, and you continue your trek. It is kind of, once again, a relatively lovely day outside. Another several hours of walking go by. Val, you're the first to see it. That shadow from the prior day's travel. The shadow, as a reminder, that Kaskrin looked through his spyglass that he has always had, will always have, is very high-powered and very fancy and expensive and effective. Identified as some sort of a bird, a raven, a crow, something that had maybe a head strapped to it. It's hard to say. There was a head poking out of plumage, it seemed like. And you see the shadow. And unlike the other times that it has appeared, it is not simply overhead. You can see that it is flying towards you. You see this large shadow, wings beating, flying much lower than before, and unmistakably in the clear blue sky above you, towards you.
Everyone else sees the giant bird headed directly towards us, correct?
We're under attack. Take cover.
Wait, it's back? Hold on. Keep it there. Keep it there.
Cass, you can clearly see with your own Nice.
to also subtitles is David miming, fumbling,
Frantically
definitely his
pantomiming,
spyglass. Which again, the Cascarin has always had, will always have, and is impeccably excellent.
And he's holding both the tripod and the telescope in his hand, and then looks around and just like there's this giant raven barreling towards us.
The Fortunate, is this a attack angle or a
Landing?
let's have a conversation angle?
I presume everyone has slightly paused at this development, even if just for a moment. And the Fortunate looks up, pauses, and then looks down at you all. Says, I don't know.
Scatter.
Val will stand behind the Fortunate and
Reasonable.
wait until the Raven is within 50 feet and then cast Mind Link.
Okay. What is everyone else doing?
So Selv is going to be heading at a perpendicular from how the Raven is coming in. So if the Raven is coming in towards
Selv is running away? Bummer. What a coward.
Strategic placement is what that is.
Wow.
And so
fancy
you'll
words.
Run, get perpendicular. I would like to try to determine if this creature is coming in for a landing or is coming in talons out to grab something and keep going.
You'll have to wait until it's much closer.
That's fine.
Is reasonable,
Yeah.
if not great. I think that is a reasonable thing you can roll for, but also it's flying and it's going to do that. I don't know if you guys have seen, like a bird of prey where like it only extends its like talons at the last possible second to lunge out. So who knows? Who knows?
Checkers is gonna start yelling in a language that people don't understand, but he's trying to speak Raven or Crow. He's just yelling out as loud as he can. Don't eat me! I taste bad.
Now,
Go for one of them.
Go for that one.
Are you mechanically speaking Crow, or are you just chirping? Okay, right.
yeah,
right.
Checkers has trained the Agmar crows.
Yeah, I can
Remember?
speak. I can speak with animals.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know that you can speak with animals, but training crows and versus don't eat me is a little different than like, well, I left popcorn out for them.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do nice things for me.
Yeah.
Cascarin is just trying desperately to get the telescope and the tripod back in the bag and is like fumbling with it and like ducking and like, oh god.
We have very bad reactions. I think.
I mean, it's a weird
One of
fucking
the
thing,
legs got like
if it
stuck
helps.
out of the pouch and he can't figure out how to fold it back in.
Don't eat me! Eat him!
I
He's slow.
love the idea that you just bought this recently, and so you're still very proud of it, but it's still so new that you're just like, fuck, I've never had to put this away quickly before.
It has like its own like foam case,
Of course,
and it's just like it doesn't fit in there right now. It's like this is not the time.
It's like trying to get a tent back into like
Yes.
the original case, and you're like, I need at least an hour to get this right.
But also with a large bird barreling towards you.
Yeah.
Is the humanoid? For
You
lack
can't
of
see
a-
it. Like as far as you can tell, even as it bears down on you, you can't see anything.
Okay.
Like you believe that Cascarin saw it in his spyglass, but as far as you can tell right now, it looks like just an increasingly more uncomfortably large bird is flapping towards you. So I will ask Selv to roll me a survival check as this thing continues to bear down on you.
That would be a natural 1 for a total of 7.
Eat him.
That's no Raven. That's a space station.
So all of this is happening all at once. You all become aware of several things happening suddenly. You see this thing barreling down on you, Val. You are concentrating. You're like, all right. It's any second. And then you still hear a clattering in the background of Cascarin trying to
Oh jeez. Oh god. Oh Jesus.
stuff things away, maybe get a hammer out. I don't know. Wherever, like, there's just clambering back that direction. And then you were also suddenly aware that Checkers has been screaming in Crow for who knows how long because you've been so focused. And you off in the distance, Selv has been taking off, and you are also, I forgot, peering behind the Fortunate as seeing all of this and waiting for all this to unfold. And you see Selv hit the deck, just dive dramatically onto the ground to take cover. just around that 50-foot mark, the creature's wings stop flapping for just a split second and then fling out wide as kind of like an air brake kind of situation where they are off to the side and you can kind of see the exposed like belly and you see all of the wings. It immediately like kind of hits the brakes and you all get this big rush of wind as it slows down and kind of glides to a stop. First, you get the sense, especially once it hits 30 feet, because this happens like so fast, that there are indeed 2 sentient creatures have entered into your field of perception. And you are able to just kind of like start the process of reaching out via mind link. And this large bird flaps its wings one more time. And you immediately notice how huge, like these wings aren't just big, because this bird is 15, 20 feet tall, just standing. But the wings are disproportionately large. And its wings fold in and are so large, it almost like they crisscross a little bit. And they lean forward, and when the wings open back up, a small mortal steps out of seemingly nowhere and says, "Hello."
Hi.
You're not going to eat us, right?
We'll see.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
This episode is sponsored by Azavar's Ancestral Almanac. Are you starting a new campaign and looking for more options during character creation? Azavar's Ancestral Almanac is a new supplement for D&D 5e that brings to life 9 new playable ancestries. Packed to the brim with captivating lore and gorgeous artwork, Azavar's has a little something for every player. Why settle for the ordinary? From sentient stone golems to gem-infused humanoids touched by the gods to adorable mole creatures, Azavar's Ancestral Almanac takes your character creation to the next level. Make your next adventure one to remember with Azavar's Ancestral Almanac. Available now on dmsguild.com.
And now, back to the episode.
This is a small creature, probably in proportion, looks like maybe a halfling. But it's hard to tell because this creature is absolutely covered from head to toe with leathers, with armor, with strips of fabric, and has giant goggles is a little too goofy, but just large, glossy, glassy things, like spectacles covering its eyes, in a way that it looks like goggles. And Kaskrin, you would know, that's what you saw in the spyglass. The glint must have been these giant eye things, but there is no skin exposed.
Is this creature still strapped or like inside the raven?
No, the wings closed, and the wings opened up a little bit again as it kind of like was bowing down to you all. And it just walked out in a way that like either they're very slick or is lightly magical or both.
Catherine will go up and respectfully introduce ourselves. We are the Golden Tree Adventuring Guild. What can we do for you? And he kind of like looks up at the halfling or the creature and like back up at the raven.
Guilders, huh?
Mm-hmm. I'm Val.
I'm Checkers.
Val has stepped around the fortunate at this point.
You sure know how to make an entrance.
What's the dragon doing over there? And everyone just like slowly, I'm imagining just slowly turns over to Selv. What is Selv doing over there?
Well, Selv is standing up and was going to attempt to be stealthy and move around to the backside of the raven and, be there just in case. But if he's seen, he'll just kind of stand up, brush himself off.
Val will like wave over it, like wave him to come over.
Okay. I will come out to stand with the rest of the group.
I believe he was strategically distancing himself if you were to attack.
That's reasonable.
Yes, that sounds correct.
And who's that? Pointing to the Fortunate.
This is our friend, the Fortunate.
They are a companion of ours, a defender from the Red City of Agmar, where we're from.
From Agmar. Interesting. I'd wondered. Directions line up. That makes sense.
We were definitely aiming for the shortest route to Deepwood.
So you are going to Deepwood.
We are, and we've noticed you've been following us for a while.
Well, I wouldn't say following. What I would say is that I have known where you were for a while now. I've been only following you for like a day. By the way, you have not seen this for a day. You've seen it, you saw it yesterday for a bit, and you saw it for a bit today. You've not seen it for a day.
And
We've learned we're pretty easy to find in the wilds.
and who are you and your friend?
I have noticed that you're pretty easy to see in the wild. It says, ignoring Kaskrin's question. And again, this voice is a little androgynous, hard to tell if it's male, female, or otherwise. And it's like, usually when I'm out on my flights, I don't do people the courtesy of flying down and introducing myself.
We appreciate being an exception.
Well, I saw you guys do something with that weird skeleton. It was a little unclear. It seemed like you were at odds with the large skeleton. Is that a fair
That
interpretation?
is a fair
We
interpretation.
did have opposing viewpoints on whether or not some of us should be eaten by it or not.
Mm-hmm.
I would too.
Yeah.
Well, that business told me you weren't just anyone coming through this direction. I'd hoped that meant that we could have a nice conversation about your intentions.
And Kaskrin will also ask, and where are you from? And I imagine you get totally ignored.
No. This time, after this has kind of been talked through, the halfling turns to you and says, I'm one of the Ravenmounts of Deepwood, and that's why I'm here.
Val says under her breath.
Sweet.
Fucking cool.
That's awesome.
Checker says very out loud, "Sweet, that's awesome. Can you take us there?"
We'll see. What are your intentions?
Our intentions are to hopefully find the next destination of our journey. We're looking to find somebody to help us reconstruct a magic item that was broken, and they weren't able to tell us directly where to meet them. We got a riddle instead, and Deepwood seemed like our best guess.
The halfling takes no pause at you being told a riddle for where to go, but instead asks, do you think that your answers lie in Deepwood?
We are not sure. We think Deepwood is part of the journey to our destination.
We hope to enter the city and restock on supplies. Maybe meet a few of the town guards. We did catch word of a few refugees from the nearby city of Crossroads that might be stopping by. But as far as we're concerned, we intend to be in the city no more than maybe a day.
What do you mean, refugees?
Crossroads was attacked. The bridge was torn down. People fled. Some to Agmar, some on their way here.
Can someone roll me a diplomacy check? Or whatever the... Right? It is
mean
diplomacy.
persuasion?
Fuck, every time.
Persuasion?
Yeah,
Fucking 4E.
Kaskrin with a 15.
The halfling kind of looks between all of you, clearly sizing you all up. They say, well, it's the first time hearing about it, but I'm usually out of the city, so I only know what I see. So, say I believe you.
I believe you.
All right. Say I believe you. Don't. what concern are these refugees to you? And why are they coming to Deepwood?
We strive to help anyone in need. One member of the Agmar Guard sent us a message letting us know they were on their way here to Deepwood, and we'd like to make sure they arrive safe. I assume the leadership of Deepwood would like a heads up to know that they're on the way. We've never met these refugees. We don't know who they are, but we'd like to help them in any way we can.
The halfling ponders this for a moment and says, all right, I'll tell you this. Deepwood is generally not open to outsiders for reasons that are our own. They can take a degree of solace under our boughs until the council decides what to do with them. If you want, I am sure I could arrange a time for you to speak to the elders if you would like, especially if you only need to be in our city for a short time.
I think we would all very much appreciate that.
The halfling kind of pauses again, and the energy is a little sapped, and the halfling pauses, then kind of looks back up at you and chippers up a bit and says, well, if that's it, I believe you. I would say, don't try anything funny. See you at Deepwood. Try not to die. And, that's it.
Well, thank you very much. What was your name?
The halfling has already, kind of started up towards their mount. Again, this big bird that has just been looming behind this whole time, once again kind of, unfurls its wings a little bit. The halfling steps up and is once again kind of semi-cocooned for a moment. And then you see the wings spread open strangely widely, supernaturally widely, and begin to flap, kicking up dust and dirt and grass all around you. And you can hear this high-pitched voice call out, name's Juniper. I'll see you there.
Bye, Juniper.
Don't
Hey, Juniper.
die.
We'll try.
And with uncomfortable speed, the mount quickly gains altitude and is not but a speck in the sky that you soon lose. The Fortunate looks around at you all and says, that was weird, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Indeed.
What
How
was
do
up
we-
with that bird?
How did we get one of those?
Sal, you think they're taking applications to be a Ravenmount?
You want to be the mount?
I want to be the Raven. Mango's the Mount, obviously.
I don't see why not.
Neat.
It might only be open to residents, though.
Well, it was nice knowing all of you.
Are other cities like that? The Fortunate asks. Agmar is all I'm familiar with. And Agmar, obviously, with screening and vetting and other words that I honestly never cared to listen to Nomgar long enough to learn.
I believe the Ravenmounts are like the Bones. They patrol outside the city and probably have a dual job of vetting visitors, much like the guards when you get into the walls.
Rockwood really does not have anything like this, and poof. I mean, granted, we're a
It
canyon city
shows.
in the desert, so hey, we're open to all. We
you can make
invite
it.
all knowledge. That's true. You gotta get through the sand sharks. You gotta get through the desert. It's a lot of natural obstacles.
Low Trossus has ships. We don't really we don't have birds so much.
I suppose the monastery is similar with natural obstacles. You gotta get up there.
Just seems odd.
Everyone's got a thing.
No, the reticence towards refugees struck me as strange. Agmar's not like that. And Portia just kind of is just processing a new interesting worldview that they have just learned.
Deepwood has become used to their isolation.
Or potentially they let in outsiders at one point and something bad happened.
You guys would know that cities and towns, be they new, old, and or otherwise, are drastically different in terms of how they screen people, how they let people in. Some people, absolutely, come on in, whatever, we'll figure it out. Other people are like, it's invite only, VIP city. So it wouldn't be as alien for you guys, but is still notable that they are so like, I don't know about that.
Which means they may have an issue with the fortunate entering.
We don't know that. They might just, I mean, they have an issue with us in general, I think, more so than any one of us.
Guess we'll find out.
I find people quite enjoy me. That was a joke.
I'm a hoot. Yeah.
So that's what Val's gonna like embroider on the next hat that he's gonna weave for them.
You guys continue walking. Every once in a while, you feel like maybe you see a dot up in the sky above you. Maybe every once in a while you see a couple dots in the sky above you as the hours march on. And then, from an impressive distance away, you see it. An almost unimaginably large tree. He says, asking players and listeners alike to imagine a large tree.
I have imagined the tree from Avatar.
Yeah, that's reasonable. A giant trunk that is as wide as a city itself stands at the edge of a vast and dark forest. Imagine the sun is starting to set, and you can start to see, in beautiful green foliage, lights that have started to prickle on. Partway up this tree seems to be a large growth that it takes you a second to realize is maybe a large mushroom that is overgrown with moss and seems to have buildings on it. In the middle of this gargantuan tree, you can see, even at this distance, a giant waterfall cascading all the way down. And it seems like there are lights behind it, just illuminating and highlighting the water. On the other side, opposite of the mossy mushroom, even at this distance, you can see what appear to be burn marks. But these burn marks are hundreds of feet in the air. All of that hails from the city above. Cut out from the foliage, almost like a city sandwich, where foliage are the two buns, you see a multi-tiered city with phosphorescent lights, like Avatar, sparkling throughout. Even here, you can start to see again lights of civilization start to spring up. On either side of the trunk, you see more waterfalls cascading down each of the levels. Brightest of all, right in the middle of this city, catching your eye, even from this distance, is a light, like a reflection, that you can only imagine is a light source involving a gigantic mirror that is pointing in different directions as the night goes on. And all around this tree are thousands and thousands of differently sized ravens. You all have made it to the city of Deepwood, and you all have leveled up,
Hey.
and we will see you next week.
Hey, we made it. Wow.
I feel like throughout the night I just like slowly like melt in
Yeah.
my chair.
Also, I mean, right. That's
Sit
also
up straight.
no, posture is garbage. I swam 2,500 yards the other day. My back is shot.
Well,
Yeah.
right. So do more core work for the podcast.
Yeah.
So
Engage
is what we're
those
trying
core
to get
muscles.
at.
Right.
There should be something like a core rule book
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
to follow or
Hmm.
something.
That might help.
Everyone has to come in and do a minute of planks before we start recording. Really
When
warm
did-
the abs up.
When would you say the Reckless Attack podcast started to fall apart? Would you say in our, like, like behind the music thing 10
Would
years
you
from now?
say
It's
it
like,
was
well,
the mandatory?
the mandatory planks, actually, to be honest, I think is probably where it was.
Well, as they say, planks are constant.
Ooh.
Boo.
Okay. Something I just
That was when it started.
Yeah, that was. If we had to point to a
One-
specific time,
Right. One
that
pun,
was it.
Too
Yeah.
far.
Oh.
One science pun.
Yeah.